I always try to offer something spooky this time of the year, but if you can't tell, my voice is kind of ragged. Currently battling a cold, and so you know what? I think I'm just gonna sit this year out. Yep. Nah, I'm just, there's no reason for me to do a Halloween video. I've done one every single year, and I would really like to get back to playing Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition on the Switch.
I know you want to look
50
at
hours
me.
in, and I'd really like to beat it.
You know I'm
one of those
here.
games I've
It's
just been
me.
plugging away at.
Come on, don't ignore me. Come on. Don't ignore me.
Okay, fine. What do you want? Huh?
Oh, thank goodness I finally got your attention.
Who exactly are you?
Dude, really?
No.
You can't tell? I'm the Halloween spirit, here to pick you right back up. I know you're not feeling well, but guess what? You gotta do a Halloween review. Yeah. So come on, let's do it. Just for old time's sake.
Alright, well, I guess there's no escaping it, so here's my review of Castlevania Lords of Shadows.
Nope.
Oh, right. We did that one already. Alright, well, how about a review of Castlevania Order of
Wrong
Shadows?
again.
Aw, come on, why not?
Because I want you to suffer.
Fine. Here's Castlevania Order of Shadows.
Yes.
If Castlevania Grimoire of Souls is evidence of anything, it's that a mobile Castlevania experience outside of handheld gaming can be done in a fun way. But Castlevania's mobile gaming history started out pretty rocky. On September 18th, 2007, Konami released Castlevania Order of Shadows to North America and European territories. A mobile title built from the ground up by Konami's Western mobile gaming division, the company's efforts remain questionable at best when stacked up against the rest of the franchise. Journey back with me. Before COVID-19, before global recessions, before... Yo, don't even mention things that happen on the news in this channel. It's totally anti-Halloween. Stop virtue signaling, bro. You're just gaslighting the woke media into canceling your channel and into being shook. Did you just use a bunch of millennial words that you Googled? Yep, gotta stick with the times. Speaking of which... Oh, hi there. I don't do these that often, but looks like you gotta earn some money somehow. Manscaped-vania, yeah, that's it, is the world's first premier bloodless grundle trimmer that will keep your succubus happy. Designed by Vamps for Vamps. Keep those digital giblets smooth with this free trial courtesy of Manscaped-vania. Oh god, I'm selling out. Oh god. Put in the offer code SELLOUT for 2% off the price. So come along with me and bask in the wonders that is motorboating the undead forever. Ah yes, the sweet smell of money pouring in. Thanks, Manscaped-vania. Order of Shadows tells the alternate timeline tale of Desmond Belmont, father of Simon Belmont and son of Soleil Belmont. During the late 1600s, Desmond and his sisters, Zoe and Dolores, travel to a nearby mansion in a forest to take on the calling of their ancestors. Their goal is to stop someone from resurrecting Dracula prior to his 100-year slumber. A group of evil people known as the Order have put their faith in leader Rohan Kraus, who wants to resurrect Dracula in an attempt to give them all immortality via the Lord of Darkness himself. Zoe and Dolores essentially help Desmond outside of the combat zone, as they gain the information necessary to, advance the plot? In all honesty, the creators did a pretty good job of creating a story that feels on target with the history and lore of the franchise.
No. You're not angry enough. You need to be angry about this game. You need to call the game
a miserable little pile of secrets.
free.
Hey man, no need for that. Calm down. I told you after the review we can go to Popeyes and get chicken and biscuits.
This episode's been brought to you by Popeyes.
Supposedly, Koji Igarashi himself helped supervise the creation of the story, but required it to be considered a side story, not part of the main timeline. Though it's not considered canon and conflicts with the every 100 years rule, I think it services the franchise well enough. The written dialogue is also much better than most of the really intentional hokey language that plagues Castlevania games, for better or worse. Now, I'm not saying I don't love that stuff in Castlevania, quite the opposite. However, having multiple heroes invade the castle, but only focusing on one member of the cast, the lead, does a disservice to the other two characters. I realize the limitations due to the platform, so perhaps I'm being nitpicky here, but most of us hardcore fans of the franchise eat up the possibility for more lore to be uncovered based on experiences of non-playable characters. I often wonder if Order of Shadows' story could have been a better fit for an alternate medium, such as a comic book or manga. Iga requiring the game to not fit within a timeline that he himself has expressed regret over releasing publicly is just funny to me. Keep in mind that this is a mobile game from 2007, so Order of Shadows plays... Okay, who am I kidding? It's really rough along the edges. Desmond's movements are plagued by the stiffest moving and jumping the series has seen since the early days of the NES trilogy. There's a few tricks which help improve things a bit. For starters, when pressing the jump button, hold it down to go the full distance instead of this weird half jump that he does. When he jumps up, if he lands on a platform, it's on the edge, which just feels awkward. Your whip attack defaults with a generic leather whip, though the Flame Whip and Vampire Killer can be acquired, which is odd because the dialogue between Kraus and Desmond make it sound like he already has it. Weird. Pressing the right soft key, which I couldn't actually map to a controller for whatever reason, so I just kept a separate window open while I played, triggers the menu, which allows you to turn the music on and off, or quit the game, explore your inventory, status, and equipment. You can apparently gain levels through defeating enemies, but I didn't notice any difference, to be honest. Desmond can duck by default with the down button. Hitboxes are way too big for both enemies and your hero. It's pretty obvious that you'll need to keep your distance when attacking, which kind of works out on certain enemies like the Minotaur or Ghost Skulls. Baddies in this game are the usual bunch of skeletons, Medusa heads, flea men, and more of the typical Castlevania cronies. Some of the enemies look great on the small screen, particularly the Ghost Skulls and Dracula. However, playable and non-playable heroes, as well as Kraus, look completely out of scope with the rest of the franchise. The entire experience feels like something you'd see on an Amiga, filled with chunky, doofy-looking sprites that lack detail the series is known for. I don't know, not really feeling the visuals overall here. The music is honestly one of the best parts of the game. Some newer pieces of music really worked well with the mood of the franchise, with a few callbacks to older games. Even though there are better renditions of the original tunes from the series on other platforms, I still think they sound great here. Here's my personal highlighted favorites. I also had the opportunity to speak with the composer, Vincent Diamante, about some of the development history back in 2019. He's more known for his work on games like Skullgirls, Sky, and Flower, but I was lucky enough to have a chat with him when we covered one of the songs from this soundtrack for my podcast, XVGM Radio. Here's a few random bits of information on the history of the development. How did this project come about, and how did you get involved?
I had worked with some of these devs earlier on a few games prior to them becoming Konami Mobile, back when they were called Blue Label games. They brought me along for the ride, and I worked on various Konami Mobile titles at the time. Most of them were more or less straight ports, but then there was this Castlevania game. The developers had their homegrown cross-platform mobile tech at the time, and they wanted some more reasons to keep on pushing it, so they pushed the powers to be to allow them to make something a little more original.
Did Konami give a specific sound direction to go off of?
Not really. I basically said I wanted to treat this seriously as a new platform, and if I was looking to the past, it was at things like Super Castlevania 4 and other parts of the Konami library for inspiration, rather than just targeting a quote-unquote Castlevania sound. They were basically okay with what I was making, as long as it hit the music tech limits. It was something ridiculous like under 3K or under 5K for each SP MIDI track. I don't remember exactly anymore.
Do you know of any preservation on the developer's end to keep this game working on non-mobile formats, for example Steam, or maybe release as a free game online?
Nope. All the people I knew on this project are no longer at Konami, and I think this was an era of gaming, just before the iPhone, that a lot of people would prefer to forget. I don't blame them too much.
Order of Shadows stages try to merge the non-linear aspects of games like Symphony of the Night, but do it in a way that still represents classic Vania stages. There's a total of 5 stages where you'll face off against a boss in each. The levels are varied enough visually, despite still feeling a bit empty. I like the fact that you can continue basically where you left off if you die, but it makes the food items you pick up completely useless. Yeah, let's talk about those. I got a bone to pick with them. The biggest complaint I have with this game is the sub-weapons, alchemy magic, powers, and health items. There are just way too many pickups in this game. Aside from the standard hearts, you have a magic bar which handles alchemy magic powers. There are spells Desmond can grab from candles that you whip. There's a total of 9 spells you can collect with range from a firestorm that gets blocked by ceilings, making it a bit useless, to Reflect, which bounces projectiles, to the Gambler, which will either raise your offense or defense, depending on what you get. There's so many of these that I had to force myself to explore them just to see what they did. Same with the sub-weapons, there's way too many to choose from. The standard cross and axe are here, but where's the holy water? Instead we get doves that look like they're going to die falling unless you follow them to see them rise up. A Muramasa sword, Chrysogrime, what? Platinum blade? A Vijaya? What the hell is that?
Leave it to the nerd to not know what female anatomy is.
No, you idiot. Not Vijay. What are you, 12?
Ah, okay. It says here that the Vijaya is a legendary sword created from one of Indra's thunderbolts.
Why is this in the game? With 10 sub-weapons, it's way overkill. And the food is completely useless. Health pickups restore as little as 5% via the chicken leg or 100% with the super tonic. The food ranges all over the place in terms of variety of numbers and types of meals. Half chickens, tacos, hamburgers, fermented soybeans? Wait, why do fermented soybeans give you 50% health when a chicken leg only gives you 5%? That's ridiculous. So I mentioned earlier that your hitboxes are kinda wonky in this game, but the thing that really boils my blood about this one is the lack of breathing room once attacked. As soon as you get hit, if you're anywhere near an enemy, they won't let you break away. Something that old games never really did. Generally, if you got hit, you would bump backwards or get stunned for a moment, but in Order of Shadows, it's much harder to escape. I also gotta mention that death appears every time you die, which is actually kinda cute. Aw, look at him. Silly guy. The sheer amount of pickups is completely baffling in a game that has pretty light challenge considering you can finish it in less than 30 minutes. There are also abilities you gain when defeating a boss like backdashing, sliding, and the vampire killer. Still so bizarre. This just doesn't fit in the Castlevania style. I think this game tried a lot of things and only got about half of them right. The story's well written, with interesting but kinda dumpy looking characters. The music sounds great despite a lack of sound effects during play, and the freedom of inventory choice is hammered home to players, even though they'll have to struggle to try them all out within the game's short time frame. This is easily skippable for most people, something I'd only recommend to true hardcore Castlevania loyalists like myself who want to explore every avenue of the franchise, for better or worse. If you're interested in checking it out, grab a mobile phone Java emulator and download it, because that's the only way you could try it in the modern era. Well, there you go, another Castlevania review. What's next?
Oh, I'm sure we can think of something. After all, it doesn't have to be Halloween to review Castlevania.
Thanks to all Patreon supporters, but especially the Morningstar Whip tier and up. They are Sam Schaefer, The Eighth Sign, Scott McElhone, Venthros, Great White North Presents, Nintendo, Bryce, Derek Demitter, and Trevin Adams. Your continued support helps fund reviews like this one, which would simply not be possible without the donations from Patreon members. I appreciate each and every one of you for continuing to help me make the content that you want to see. Classic goofy YouTube video game reviews. If anyone is interested, just $1 down gets you access to exclusive streams on Discord, stretch goals like Taco Bell food reviews each month, along with director's cut commentary for episodes, a free sticker, regular updates on upcoming reviews, and more. Check it out at patreon.com/dongled. I hate to sound like a typical YouTuber, but if Patreon's not your thing, but you still want to help get the word out, share this video on social media. Exposure really helps, so if you like these videos and think your friends will too, sharing it with them means a lot. Want more Dude You Haven't Played This Game? Check out the videos enclosed below. You can click on the left-hand side or the right-hand side for a totally different but totally awesome review. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Dude You Haven't Played This Game.